The ground in Italy just shifted, but not with a tremor of the earth, rather with a seismic rumble from a different kind of monster. Forget everything you thought you knew about the limits of speed, because Toprak Razgatlioglu hasn't just tested a motorcycle, he has officially set the MotoGP world on fire by obliterating Marc Marquez's untouchable record at Mugello. This wasn't some casual Sunday ride, it was a declaration, a whispered threat from the Yamaha camp, and frankly, a bit of a cheeky wink to the old guard. The Yamaha V4 era hasn't just arrived, it has, with a polite cough and an undeniable roar, claimed its first legendary victim. This is no longer a test, it's a total takeover. Imagine walking into a library and suddenly hearing a full orchestra strike up. That's the kind of disruption we're talking about. The atmosphere at the Mugello circuit, usually a cacophony of engine notes and cheering fans, turned chillingly silent as the timing screens displayed a figure that seemed impossible for anyone present to believe. It was like witnessing a magic trick where the magician actually vanishes, leaving everyone in stunned, bewildered silence. Everyone in the paddock stood frozen, witnessing a new chapter of history being written on the scorching Italian asphalt, a chapter that begins with a bang and ends with a question mark hanging heavy in the air. What fresh hell has Yamaha unleashed, and how will the Kings of Speed react to this audacious challenge?
For years, the lap record at Mugello wasn't just a number. It was a monument to Marc Marquez's peak physical defiance. To beat it, you don't just need a fast bike, you need a disregard for the laws of physics that borders on the poetic. Toprak didn't just nudge the record, he detonated a milestone, long considered the ultimate standard for speed on this technical circuit. It's a bit like watching someone beat a video game boss on their first try, using a character that wasn't supposed to be unlocked yet. Marquez, the master of the save, must now watch from the sidelines as a newcomer aboard a prototype machine rewrites the curriculum. The human element here is palpable. The look on the mechanics' faces wasn't just joy, it was a type of religious shock. They knew the V4 was coming, but they didn't know it would be this hungry. This wasn't a lucky lap fueled by a slipstream, it was a calculated, surgical removal of a legend's throne. It marks the end of an era where one man's bravery was the ceiling, replaced by a terrifying new synergy of rider and machine. Yet, as the sun began to set over the Tuscan hills, a deeper realization began to sink in among the rival teams. If the engine is this fast now, what exactly is hiding inside that carbon fiber fairing? After a long period spent in the shadows of doubt and the occasional constructive criticism from its riders, Yamaha's V4 engine project has finally bared its teeth.
This isn't just a laboratory experiment anymore. It's a mechanical masterpiece that sounds less like a motorcycle and more like a thunderstorm with a grudge. The transition from the traditional inline-4 to this V4 configuration is the equivalent of Yamaha trading in a scalpel for a lightsaber. It's precise, yes, but the sheer oomph is on a different level. In Toprak's hands, the bike looks like a predator devouring every inch of the track with an extraordinary, almost eerie stability. The piercing scream of the engine sliced through the Mugello air, sending a clear check engine light to the hearts of the rival engineers at Ducati and Aprilia. It's a funny thing, seeing grown men in team shirts looking at telemetry data like they've just seen a UFO. Yamaha has successfully leaped over their own technological boundaries, creating a weapon designed specifically to crush the dominance of European manufacturers. But raw power is a double-edged sword that usually eats tires for breakfast. Could this sudden surge in horsepower be hiding a fatal flaw that only shows up when the pressure is at its peak? Toprak Razgatlioglu has once again proven why he is the rider with the most aggressive, yet strangely polite style on the planet. He rides like a man who has a personal vendetta against the front tire, pushing the Yamaha V4 to its absolute limits, and then asking for a little bit more.
His extreme late braking technique, which usually defies the laws of geometry, seems to have found a perfect dance partner in this new chassis. Every time he entered a corner, the bike appeared to dance on the razor's edge between total control and a very expensive trip to the gravel trap. Yet, he always found traction. It's humanly impossible to be that calm while the bike is vibrating like a smartphone on a marble table at 200 miles per hour. There wasn't a shred of hesitation. Every maneuver was a silent statement to his rivals. He hasn't just adapted to the V4, he has forced the V4 to adapt to him. He's redefined how a MotoGP bike is meant to be ridden, blending the stop-and-go aggression of superbikes with the high-speed flow of a Grand Prix prototype. But as the telemetry started to sync up, the engineers noticed something even more disturbing than his entry speed. What makes this achievement truly look over your shoulder terrifying for his rivals is the consistency. Toprak didn't just set one glory lap for the cameras, he was repeating those fantastic times with the surgical precision of a Swiss watchmaker on espresso. During the grueling race simulations, the bike didn't seem to get tired. Usually, when you find this much speed, the tires start to resemble melted marshmallows after 5 laps. However, the Yamaha V4 package showed a level of maturity that suggests they skipped a few grades in school.
The heat management was so efficient that the performance didn't drop off, even as the Italian sun tried its best to bake the asphalt. This sends a very clear message. Toprak isn't just a threat for a qualifying pole position. He's a persistent nightmare that will haunt the entire 40 minutes of a Sunday race. The paddock is beginning to realize that Yamaha didn't just build a fast bike, they built a durable one. However, rumors are starting to swirl that this stability comes at a secret price, one that the telemetry hasn't fully revealed yet. News of the shattered record spread through the paddock like a leaked password. You could see the spy photographers from rival teams suddenly swapping their lenses, desperately trying to catch a glimpse of the Yamaha's swing arm or aero winglets. Rival team managers were seen ducking into hospitality suites for emergency meetings, likely discussing how their untouchable advantage had evaporated in a single afternoon. The telemetry indicates that the Yamaha V4 possesses a dominant acceleration advantage that makes the previous inline-4 engine look like a vintage moped. Some reports suggested that Yamaha's electronic power management has surpassed everyone's 2026 predictions by a wide margin. There's a delicious irony in seeing the big European manufacturers who have ruled the roost for years suddenly looking over their shoulders at the Japanese giant they thought was sleeping.
The air in Mugello was thick with tension, not just from the heat, but from the realization that the power map of MotoGP has been redrawn in bright red ink. But in the world of racing, a leap this big often invites a protest. Is Yamaha playing entirely by the rules? After years of being told their philosophy was outdated or too conservative, Yamaha has finally delivered a sharp, carbon fiber slap in the face to the doubters. This V4 project is more than just an engine, it's a symbol of pride. It represents the awakening of a company that had been lost in the woods of European dominance. The results at Mugello are the ultimate validation for the engineers in Iwata, who have been working 18-hour days to prove that Japanese innovation isn't a thing of the past. Toprak is the final puzzle piece, the human element that provides the soul to the mechanical monster. He isn't just a writer, he's a high-speed translator, turning technical data into sheer dominance. There is no longer any room to doubt if Yamaha can compete at the front. They haven't just returned to the conversation, they've walked into the room and flipped the table over. Yet, history tells us that when a manufacturer finds this much speed this quickly, the technical scrutineers start taking a very, very close look. Even though Marc Marquez wasn't physically on the track, his presence was everywhere. Every time Toprak crossed the line, the ghost of Marc's 93 was there as the benchmark. This creates a fascinating psychological war, a duel between a legend of the past and a potential ruler of the future. While records are meant to be broken, doing so with such brutal elegance puts an immense amount of pressure on the current grid. The international media is already salivating over the prospect of a direct confrontation between these two titans. Can Marc respond? Can the Ducati Armada find an answer to a bike that seems to have no weaknesses? The fall of the Mugello record isn't just a statistic, it's a crack in the armor of the current MotoGP establishment. It proves that the sacred limits of the sport are actually just suggestions if you have enough grit and the right V4 engine. But while everyone is looking at the lap times, something strange was happening in the Yamaha garage during the final hour of testing. As the afternoon sun turned Mugello into a literal furnace, Yamaha did something brave. They kept going. Most teams would pack up to save the engines, but Yamaha forced Toprak to perform lap after lap in the scorching heat. They wanted to see if the V4 would melt. It didn't. In fact, the engine temperatures remained so stable it was almost boring from a technical standpoint. This level of reliability is the boring part of racing that actually wins world championships. Toprak reported that the bike remained comfortable, which in rider speak means he wasn't fighting for his life in every corner.
This efficiency is the secret sauce that allows the electronics to work perfectly without overheating the sensors. It's a terrifying prospect for the competition, a bike that is not only faster, but is also cooler under pressure. But as the test concluded, Toprak's final words to his chief mechanic sent a shiver through the garage, and it wasn't from the air conditioning. The results from Mugello are not just data. They are a stern, high-speed warning to the entire MotoGP ecosystem. We are witnessing a massive shift in the balance of power. If this performance translates to the official 2026 season, we aren't just looking at a new contender, we are looking at a new era of dominance. Satellite teams and factory giants alike must now go back to the drawing board because the goalposts haven't just been moved, they've been taken to a different stadium. Toprak Razgatlioglu has proven he is the peak predator, and the Yamaha V4 is his perfect weapon. The racing world is now a very dangerous place for anyone who isn't wearing Yamaha blue. Mugello was the silent witness to the birth of a legend, a moment where speed, technology, and pure Turkish guts united into one deadly package. The future is here, it's loud, and it's faster than we ever imagined. Would you like me to analyze the specific aero winglet changes Yamaha used during this record-breaking run?